hello and happy Friday. I look like very worse for wear, but whatever. So I ended up getting Cillian I don't know if this is gonna work either, but I got him a potty trainer thing. I never got this for the other two kids, but for some reason this just looked like it would be good. He's pretty early and wants to try, so I thought I'd just get this easy and simple and kind of cheapy one to start and see how he does. And so he can sit over the toilet, he can practice it out, and I think this is like a splash guard for boys. I have no idea. Oh, I guess I put it, I don't know how to put it in. I'll have to figure it out. What is it, Cillian? Oh, you want to watch Elmo? Yeah. Watch a show? Oh, does the iPad need to get charged? Daddy? Yeah. Daddy's getting it for you. Anyway, I came home, this place was a pigsty. There was like stuff everywhere. I just don't know how that happens. Like everywhere, like total mess. And Nolan didn't feel like feeding his lizard, so I had to take care of it. And I left my office in a good mood and now I'm not. Plus I was like an hour in Target getting stuff because we're like running out of so much stuff and just seems like we need so much stuff. I'm just like, oh. And then I did laundry and I switched out the trash and 100 gazillion million things. So I got attitude today. Anyway, so I got this. I'm gonna try to figure out how to put this flap on. And then it has a potty hook, so that like hangs over the side of your tank, so that you have that. And it's just a Target, it's like $11.99. So I thought for $11.99, why not? Just try it out. And then we already have a stool I had gotten when Marina was little. Have that, and so he can like step up and then do his business and that kind of thing. So we'll see what happens and how it looks. I'm gonna try it out just to see what it looks like. Okay, so this is what it looks like on. I don't know about the splash guard. I can't really figure that one out. I think it goes on the inside here somehow, but as I was trying to put it on, it looked like everything was starting to separate, so I really don't know how to put that on. So it's just like this, and then the hanger is right here. So once he's done doing his business, we can just take it here. I don't know if that'll, yeah, it fits. And then just kind of hang it there. So I think that'll work. Here we are, we'll begin. He does sit on the potty at school, so I thought it would be worth his while to sit on the potty at home too occasionally. That way it's kind of consistent effort on the school's part and on our part. Oh, and look at it, see that in the background? See if I can get it. There you go. Is that awesome? That was one of Marina's photos that she did in high school. It's so phenomenal. I love having it in here. It's not like a bathroom photo, but for some reason it just works in here, so it looks really good. Anyway, so that's what's going on. We're trying to figure out what we're gonna have for dinner. I just like don't feel like anything at all. So I don't know what to even think about that. I guess I'm in a bad mood. Starting off the weekend right, I guess. Oh, you want to be on the film? So Kaylee, well, we had just had dinner, so I think we all feel better. I ended up having clam strips, which are really good, and some french fries. So nothing like fried food to start off your weekend, right? But it is just what I decided to eat tonight. So anyway, so I had that, and then Cillian, my sweet puppy over here, had some dinner too. He had fruit and he had a burger and french fries. Fruit too. At least he had the fruit. I don't know why I'm doing that. Anyway, so that was good, and Nolan had a couple of burgers, and yeah, so we were just hanging out. Cillian is having a little bit of, or actually Cillian is watching Carl's Car Wash. So I don't know if you're a parent out there, even if you're not a parent, you may have come across a number of like really strange Netflix and Amazon stuff. Like the kids shows can be ranged from like super awesome to like really, really weird. But anyway, Carl's Car Wash is a pretty good one. It's consistent. It makes me kind of think of what is the tool guy? Oh, I can never remember the Bob the Builder. That's it. Oh my God, I remembered. So it makes me think a little bit of like Bob the Builder, because they have a problem and they fix it through like deductive reasoning, you know. So in this case, you'll have like somebody who had a vehicle and the vehicle got dirty for some reason, and then they bring it to Carl's car wash, and Carl decides what kind of mess it is, how messy it is, and what the vehicle is, and then he sets the little gadgets so that the car can be washed. So every episode is the same, but it's actually pretty watchable. So it's a lot better than some of the other stuff that like, it's like songs and sing-alongs that are really kind of out there and bizarre. Like, I'm not sure what they're doing. Like, maybe they're trying to be really like artistic, and simple would really work just fine. So anyway, that so Cillian is enjoying that tonight. And then we'll read some books before bed. You want to get out? You want to get out? Okay. Go, okay. You know, read. Oops. Here's my boy. Why is your smile the best smile ever? Do you have a really good smile, huh? What? Want to get down?
Hey, buddy.
I swear I saw it somewhere at some point. Nolan lost his, or didn't lose it, but we were looking for his 3DS. We can't find it. I have a feeling it was somewhere. You didn't see it upstairs at all?
No.
I feel like I know where it is. Like I know, like I've seen it. Not recently. It would have been like some months ago. But I feel like I feel like I've seen it. Like, I don't think it's completely gone unless, I don't know. I don't think it's completely gone. Let's just say that much. Anyway, so Cillian didn't really eat his burger, so I'm putting that away. And yeah, so it's just kind of like the usual Friday night eating, just getting things together, and we'll get the kids together because for bed and everything like that. It's just not like Friday nights in our house are not like fun or exciting. They're just kind of like another, like a continuation of the week, it seems. And I think I hear this a lot from parents, that that's pretty much what their Friday night is, or they may have a little bit of time that they spend together like later in the evening or something. I think after Cillian goes to bed, I'll you know, have a glass of wine. Actually, I will have a glass of wine, and I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna pop on because I want to show you, I ended up, I think I said this in another vlog, but I ended up getting a subscription to Wink. So once a month, Wink, it's W-I-N-C. I'll just leave the code, or I don't have a code. I'll leave the web address in the description. And usually the first order is like $20 off. It's not like a special that I run, it's the special that they run. But anyway, so Wink will send you, you fill out like a little questionnaire and about your taste, like what food you like to eat and things like that. And then they will send you a, everything okay, buddy? More than just this going on. He's so funny. They will send you 4 bottles of wine based on your taste, and you can select how many whites and how many reds you want. So for my initial order, I ordered 2 reds and 2 whites because Chris likes reds and I like whites. And Chris really liked his. He got a Grenache, I think it's called, and a Cab, and he did like both of those, so that was nice. And I got a Chenin Blanc and a Rosé, and I'm not really generally a Rosé drinker, but I want to show you the Rosé because it was so good. Like, I had a glass the other night, it was so good. Like, I'm so like blown away actually by it, so I will hop on and show you. It's called Summer Water, and it's Summer Water Rosé, so I'll show you it. It's a California wine, and again, I'm not a California wine drinker, but I really am impressed by this one. Okay, so I wanted to show you the wine I was just talking about, and so it's called Summer Water, and I'll pan over here. It's a 2017 rosé from the Central Coast of California. Here we are, Summer Water. Here it is, pretty simple bottle. Drops of pink. Really cupid shells. So you see here, summer is a state of mind. 85% Grenache, 15% Shiraz, and you can see the information here in the side bottle. Here, the rosé, Central Coast, California, kind of thing. So anyway, and a really interesting. I think that this can only be gotten. Yeah, I think this can only be gotten on Winc. So that's Winc, WINC.com. If you're interested in trying out. Like I said, this is not sponsored by them. I'm just, if I decide to try something out, I like to kind of like review it and just let you know what I think. But this one it's pretty good. And I don't know how long we'll keep the subscription service, but I guess we'll see. Alright, so I'm popping back on here after the day. It's actually the end of the day. It's 8:18 p.m. and I'm finally getting a chance to pop back on here. But I went to a training today that was pretty much all day. So I came home, ate dinner, and then that's where we've been. So the boys, actually Cillian went to sleep, and even a little bit later for him. He went to bed a little later, and I'm just kind of settling in now. I'm gonna make some notes, my thoughts and stuff from the training that I went to. So I went to a trauma-informed training, which is just to think of ways to language and sequence and approach the concept of having students that may have been through trauma. Also maybe even building a sequence for a trauma-informed class, if you want to offer a trauma-informed class to a studio or something like that. I don't know that I'm ready to do something like that. I feel like I need even more training, but I think that it was a good class to get, you know, an overall feet wet in that area and consider what I can do to address the needs of my students that I have now, including prenatal students that may have been through a birth trauma or maybe experiencing effects in their body that may speak to a previous trauma in their life. So that's just something that I decided to do today, and it was super informative and really a good thing to think about. I just have to kind of mull it over now and maybe jot down some notes, because that's just that a lot of times I'll get information and then I need to like process it through that way before I can kind of figure out what to do in my classes, if I do anything at all. It may just be that a lot of what was incorporated in the class is stuff that I already do in prenatal, so I just have to maybe bring those concepts, instead of thinking of it as only a prenatal concept, bringing it into my other classes as concepts as well. And I think that might be pretty good, pretty nice for people. Anyway, so it was a good workshop. It was just one day, so that was helpful too, and it should be great. And I don't have another workshop for a little while. So that's kind of nice. I don't think until, like, I have a 2-day workshop in October that I'm attending for restorative yoga, but other than that, I have a session with a teacher that I'm going to attend next week, but that is like a half-day training. It's not even a training, it's a half-day workshop, just to get a little bit more deeply into the concepts of yoga, most of which I have a pretty good foundation on, but I always like to hear other teachers kind of take on stuff, because there's always takeaways from something like that. So it could be kind of an interesting thing. But anyway, always on the search for a better and awesomer. And actually really this class like pretty much told me that I really, instead of like before I do my 300 hour, that I really need to take the more extended certified program in prenatal, because I have training in prenatal but I didn't get the certification through the Yoga Alliance. So I think I'm going to go through that process. It's a 3-module kind of intensive that I think should be super helpful for me as a teacher. And since this is an area that I think I want to build my website around and address as a community effort and work into women's health issues and pelvic alignment and everything like that, I think this is probably the best course of action for me at this time. It's like more for me to do that than it is for me to do a 300 because that's where I'm at right now. I think that's where I'm at. So I'm gonna sit down and just relax and call it a night. I'll see you in the morning. Sunday morning, getting a really nice concert. Whoa! What are you doing? Daddy and Nono are upstairs now. Yeah. You're gonna play Elmo. Oh, you get an opportunity to play Elmo now? Do you have an opportunity to play Elmo? Do you want me to turn it on? Yeah. Okay. What's that, dude? Do you want me, or maybe you want this, I don't know. Let me just see. Usually you do Amazon, right? And then, oh, do you want to play this one, Thomas? Yeah. How about I just click on this one and see what happens? Actually, let's click on this one. It can be from the beginning.
Baba. Baba.
I don't know. How was sleeping with Choo Choo last night? Was that good?
Oh, Choo Choo.
Was Choo Choo fun last night? To sleep with?
Choo Choo.
Choo Choo. Do you want Choo Choo? Do you want Choo Choo?
Yeah.
Okay. This is Bulgy or Bulgy or whatever his name is. Just hanging out here on Sunday morning. Watching a little tube. That's how Chris says it. I don't even know why I said it that way. Anyway, Cillian and I are gonna go to food shopping in a little bit. I just had breakfast. I'm having a coffee. I woke up, it's like 9 a.m. I woke up pretty late actually. I woke up at 7:30. And I was up until 11:30 talking to Marina and everything. Check out my eye makeup. Oh my god. I don't know what's going on lately with my eye makeup. I'm gonna blame myself because I don't think it's the actual makeup I've been using. It's extreme Thomas watching. Big smiles. Yeah. Yeah. What about it? I'm ready. We're ready. We want to see a concert? Are you going to show us a concert? Oops. Woo!
I just shell. Oh, I do.
He's going to hold it.
Yeah.
You're on Cillian cam now. You're on Cillian cam. Oh, look at your sweet mouth and face.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna
Bye.
There it is. Oh, he's singing a song. He's singing for you. Yeah, 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 yeah. Do you wanna sing a song with us?
Do you want to sing a song with us? Do you want to sing a song with us? Oh, don't shoot.
Nothing to see here, people. Just total cuteness. So I woke up this morning, my shoulder is bothering me. I did a lot of down dogs in practice yesterday, and I think that down dogs may not be a good thing for me either. At least not to hold for extended periods. At least not to hold for extended periods of time while I'm healing. But I definitely think I'm gonna find some other practices in yoga to help to support my shoulder. I don't know. What are you doing? Are you climbing on me? I love your songs. They're so good. Your songs are so good, Cillian. Bye-bye. 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 All right, so I'm in Cillian's room. We got him a new fan. We had this like tiny fan that I had gotten from Marina's dorm and it's dead. So I got him a Holmes tower fan. So it's just like, you know, kind of like a middle of the line. I don't even know if I got that in the film. So it's kind of like a middle of the line fan, but it's a stand-up fan. It oscillates, which is something I was interested, so we can get some movement. But Cillian's room, and I'll give you an idea. You see here, there's a window here, and here there's a window, and we have all this stuff here, plus this crib here. So there's no room, and this is my office. Like this opens up into my office. I just don't want him coming in it. There is no room at all for a window unit AC. So it gets pretty hot in this space, and Nolan's AC is running. It's just like down the hall. I'll show you. It's like just down the hall here. You can see his room. It looks kind of interesting because he's got his like vortex behind him, but so his AC usually comes down the hallway at least to make it cooler, but our house is not. It's an older home. It's like built in like the 1820s. We are not outfitted for central air in this house, so we have to have our wall units, and this room can't have a wall unit, which was fine for like the first 8 years we were here because we only used this as a guest room and nobody was really in here. And then when we converted it, when Cillian was coming around 2 years ago, it ended up, you know, now we've got this situation. But last year, Cillian was still in our room and the AC was running. So his like crib was in there, and we didn't move him in here until, I'm trying to think how old he was. Probably maybe around this time last year or so, maybe September, we moved him in here. So it was, yeah, I think it was September at least. So it had already started to cool down. We didn't need an AC in here, but now we need something to circulate air. So I'm hoping that this fan works, but I have to put it together. And I didn't realize that when I got it. So I am in the process, as you can see here, of doing that. So I have a little helper now. Here it is, it's all set up. So I put it in the corner here. I don't know what that's gonna do for us, but I couldn't really put it on the end here because, which is what I was thinking of doing, like having it here and blow into them, because then I have to run electric, like the line across the floor, because the only other outlet, because this house is so old, is like on the other side of this bookcase. So we have limitations in this house, and that's one of them, is the outlets. There should like just be an outlet like right here so I can plug something in, or right here, but there isn't. So I have it over here, and I hope it helps with the movement of the air. I don't know how much he's gonna feel here, but I'm actually feeling quite a bit of air, and I'm just standing right here. So I feel like it's circulating the air. We'll see. What are you getting into? Cillian has a remote, aka a phone, in his hand. Yeah. And he's got some tattoo. Can you show us your ink? Show us your ink. He's got a little tattoo there like his sister. His is removable. Oh, my hair is a mess. How about that? So anyway, here it is in all its glory. But yeah, I feel air coming pretty strongly here by the chair, and the chair is like right by the bed. So the room isn't that huge, so it should be pretty good. Yeah, I think it's moving air around nice. What do you think of your new fan? Do you like it? Did we find a good spot for it? I also have these boxes I haven't put away that are just like sitting there. I think I'm just gonna move them into the hall because I'm just like so tired. Or I'll just maybe just put them in the stairwell. We have a bunch of stuff in the stairwell that goes up to the attic. It might just be added to that equation. I don't know. We're gonna go to the bookstore. Do you want to go to the bookstore? The bookstore says it's open. It's like a local bookstore. It's new to me. I don't know how long it's been in business for, but I think it's supposed to be open till 5 today. And it's probably like 3:30ish, so I think we're gonna do that. Cillian's favorite thing in the world is our books, so we're gonna do a bookstore field trip. So we went to the bookstore. It was really cute, local bookstore. And I think they can pretty much get whatever we want if we had something specifically that we wanted to order, which is great, but we didn't. We were just browsing, and Nolan was interested in a dinosaur book, but he didn't really find one his age. So anyway, it was a nice experience, and then we had a little bit of a, not even a little bit, like a lot of a difficult time with Nolan. He's been pretty unregulated this weekend. I just classify that as not feeling well because I don't think he's feeling like himself or feeling very well. It seems to me like he's having a hard time like just getting his act together. And treating people respectfully and everything that goes along with all of that. So we've been really struggling with him this weekend on those things. He hasn't gotten outside very much, so Chris is actually taking them out on a walk. Even though it's like sprinkling, the boys need some fresh air, and definitely Nolan needs some movement. So he had brought them out, and I'm making dinner. We were gonna go out to eat at the local like brewery, ale house, but Nolan is just not, it's not gonna be worth his time because he's just not gonna be able to regulate, I don't think. So I just decided to stay home and make something, because sometimes that's easier than trying to struggle and eat to then have to leave and not have any eaten. I don't know if any, I mean, apparently a lot of parents have had this with their neurotypical children, and then you have a child who's has atypical neurological development, and it can be quite a storm. So that's what's going on. Then, what was I gonna say? Yeah, so I guess that's all that's happening right now. We're just doing that. It's the first Sunday in a long time that I'm not teaching, because I had been subbing in for restorative classes for a while. So it's kind of interesting not having to rush out on a Sunday night. I'm gonna work on this vlog tonight though, so I can try to get it up for you for tomorrow. And then, so Monday will be the weekend family vlog. And then Thursday or Friday, depending on when I get it up, will be my favorite restorative pose. So I'll show you my favorite restorative pose, how I like to take that restorative pose at home, and I think, you know, just ways that you can try to incorporate this pose in your life. And I'll talk a little bit about the benefits of restorative yoga and how I became wildly fascinated and interested in restorative yoga after a heavy-duty vinyasa practice, which I will be still doing what I call yoga conditioning, but I'm probably not going to do a heavy-duty vinyasa practice for a little while my body heals. You may or may not know that I have a shoulder injury. That's probably from a number of reasons, and then I'm working with a hip thing. My hip is out of alignment a little bit, I think. So my chiropractor is kind of working with the hip, working with the shoulder as best to his ability, and it's my job, obviously, to as we say, live my yoga, really just honor my body and realize that my body has limitations right now that it has not had in the past, but it does things in a different way than it has done in the past, I guess is the best way. So in the future, I may have full range of motion in my shoulder if I honor the range of motion it has now and not tax or strain it while I teach and everything. Just like other areas of my body had super severe limited range of motion. There's a point where my back was so tight and tense that I could barely walk. So now I'm doing great. So things change, and I'm thankful for that as well. But I just have to realize that like I need to make that happen. So restorative yoga is a great way for me to work into it, but I don't have to do it as like slow as like restorative yoga. I can still take vinyasa. I'm just taking vinyasa and adding my own flair to it, so it's more like a slow flow. But anyway, so that's kind of what's going on in my life, and so I'll have the restorative piece, and may even I wanted to make like kind of not an announcement, but something that I'm planning on doing as part of my yoga journey. I really think that I continue to be called in a certain direction, so I'm gonna take the call of that direction and see where it goes. But during that restorative video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about my next course of action in my yoga process. So excited about it. I made the decision yesterday after taking a workshop, kind of had a light bulb moment for myself. So it should be really interesting, and I'm excited to show you and to talk to you about it. So anyway, this is what we're doing. This is what's going on. All right, I'll pop in at the end of the night, and if anything very noteworthy comes up, I will film it for you. See you soon. All right, it's the evening time, that time of night again on a Sunday. So I just wanted to take a minute to sign off. Just to wrap things up, we had some dinner and played some games, and then when Nolan needed to head upstairs, the transition of coming from downstairs and having fun to going upstairs was a little too much. I've talked to my husband before about one time we practiced 30 minutes between when he ends like a fun practice, like he usually likes to do screen use in the afternoon or the evening. So if he's playing a game or something, he has to end the game half an hour before bedtime, and then do a quiet activity to transition himself to bed. That worked out really, really well in the past, and he was doing awesome with that. And then we kind of stopped doing that because we didn't think it was a problem anymore, and it's slowly risen up to being a major problem. And every single night he fights back on going to bed, almost like I would just say, like, put it in perspective, like Cillian's better going up to bed than he is. Like, he fights us like a 3 or 4 year old or maybe a 5-year-old, and having full-blown tantrums, trying to delay, like all of that kind of stuff. So he definitely needs some help and support from us. So I think we're gonna go back to the 30 minutes before bedtime. I have to remind my husband, because I am really busy at that time of night when Nolan is heading up. I'm either working or I'm getting stuff ready for the next day. My husband doesn't do those things, so we have to kind of divide and conquer. Otherwise, none of that will get done. So my husband is quote unquote in charge of Nolan's bedtime. I'm in charge of Cillian's bedtime. So I think Chris has to be the enforcer in this way, and it's not a comfortable place for him, I don't think, to be the enforcer. I don't think he likes to have to do that, but neither do I. So it just has to get done. So he's gonna have to, like, Nolan goes to bed at 8:30 during school days. So 8:30, at 8 o'clock, screens go off and we do a quiet activity. That's it. That way, if Nolan wants to, like, have a tantrum, he can have it for the half hour leading up to 8:30 instead of starting a tantrum at 8:30 and it's like 9 o'clock before he even goes up to his shower or whatever. So it's just kind of ridiculous. But anyway, that's what's gonna have to happen. I'm also gonna make a call. I've been putting this on hold because we go through periods where it's like really, really hard, and then we go through periods where it's not as difficult. So there's a center that's near us that specializes in ADHD and mood disorder. I'm thinking more and more that Nolan has mood disorder and may have some ADHD with that as well, as a comorbid, which they call a comorbid condition, but I don't think the ADHD is the biggest problem. I think it is the emotional dysregulation, and I think that he could have a number of different kinds of conditions. Definitely anxiety is part of that wherever it is. So I'm gonna give them a call and see if they're taking new patients. They don't take insurance, so this is totally out of pocket. It's one of the reasons why I've been putting it on the back burner, but in that case we'll just hold off on some purchases and things that we need for the house so that we can address this issue, because this is a way bigger issue. And you know, I work really hard as a yoga teacher to bring in some extra money, and this is where it needs to go. And I'll keep working super hard so that he can get what he needs, because this is kind of ridiculous. So that being said, we are going to, I think I'll give them a call tomorrow and see what's going on and see if they can see him, and go from there, because I do think he needs to see someone and be formally diagnosed with something. He needs to have some kind of regimen. I'm absolutely at this point, like I don't want to put him on ADHD medication, but at this point I'm willing to look at the possibility of some kind of mild medication for him, maybe for anxiety or something like that, so he can just get through his day, because he's not able to get through his day and function like at all. So I think at this point he has to have this kind of care, and then this center is really good about continuing care, so that even if he's on medication as prescribed by them, they will continue to monitor him and help him out and care for him. And because you're paying out of pocket, they do a really good job to make sure that they cover it. And maybe I say it's because you're paying out of pocket, but they don't have to go through the insurance companies. They don't have to meet the standards of, say, what the insurance company wants. They have other standards obviously that they have to have, but at least there's some play there and some kind of wiggle room. So those are the steps I'm taking tomorrow, and hopefully we can start to figure out what to do with everything. But anyway, so that was a really long wrap up. I just want to say goodbye. Thank you so much for hanging out and popping in for this vlog this weekend. And I just hope you have a wonderful week and a really enjoyable one. Definitely look forward to either Thursday or Friday when I can get around to popping in a restorative video. So the video will be, like I had said earlier, my favorite restorative pose, and I'll show you that, and then talking about restorative for a little while, and how it may improve your practice. If you are not practicing restorative, you may want to try it out. If you love restorative, you may want to try it out too. So anyway, thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Namaste. And also, remember, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you can get notifications of when all this amazing stuff comes up. Again, good night, namaste.